Our next inductee was a dominating presence at the University of Hartford. He scored 94 goals and assisted 26 others. Still to this day good for third place on the Hawks' all-time scoring list. Amazingly, he was involved in 120 goals in the 72 college games he played over his 4 years. He led Hartford to the 1979 ECAC Championship and 3 Division II NCAA Tournaments. As a 2-time All-American and All-New England player, he was the player opposing coaches had to set their game plans around. He put the University of Hartford soccer team on the map. Every opposing coach would ask themselves, how are we going to stop Junior? As someone who played against him over the years, my reaction was similar to others when we saw him. Oh, shoot! Junior's playing. It meant the game shifted more to stopping Junior instead of attacking ourselves. He was so powerful, dangerous, and intimidating that he normally found his mark when shooting, many times while double-teamed by the opposing defenders. He went on to play professionally indoors for the Louisville Thunder before returning to Connecticut to play and coach state soccer teams. There are a few players in Connecticut who have been as unstoppable scoring goals in their careers. We recognize his outstanding impact on Connecticut soccer with his induction tonight. Please join me in welcoming Junior Salmon into the Connecticut Soccer Hall of Fame.
Good evening, all. Wow, I see a lot of familiar faces. Too many, in fact. Wow. Well, it's good to be here, guys, really. First, I'm humbled and honored to be recognized for such a prestigious award. To begin, I'd like to thank the Hall of Fame Committee and its members for selecting me, and I want to extend my heartfelt thanks to William Duffy in presenting me this award. Well, my journey has not been an easy one. I've had my share of ups and downs, and without the grace of God, I may not be standing here today. So let me give thanks to the Lord and the grace of His mercy. And I would also like to recognize my parents for their strength, commitment to raising a good human, me. I pride myself as being a good, decent person, caring and humble. On the field, though, that may come into question. My mother perhaps gets the most of the credit. She's one of the strongest ladies I know. My mom worked 2 jobs. 2 jobs, 14 hours a day for over 20 odd years. In between, still finding time to cook and clean and raising her family, not to mention grandkids. I, on the other end, made good use of my pocket money, buying boots made with kangaroo skin and boots worn by Pele. Oh yeah, I still have them to this day. I'd also like to thank Coach Alan Wilson. Coach Alan Wilson gave me an opportunity to play at U of H. He believed in me when I doubted myself on the field and struggled in the classroom. Thank you, Coach. You never gave up on me. Also, props goes out to Steve Waters and Louis LaPena, who's not here tonight, but who recruited me to play with Weatherfield and persuading me to eventually selecting U of H over so many other schools. Many thanks to my U of H teammates, especially the ones that stayed late after practice working on my banana free kicks. You see, before Beckham, there was a bend it like juice. On a sad note, I'd like to thank and dedicate this award to my cousin and mentor, Paul Kitson. May he rest in peace. Paul was very instrumental in my development as a player. We would train together with Chris McDermott, Chrissy, and his son Paul Jr., and a bunch of other players that remember him from school. And I must admit, it paid off. Well, isn't life mystifying? Within the blink of an eye, you can be kicking the ball and running up and down the field. And the next minute, you're struck down on the ground with an ailment you never knew you had. My story isn't as bad or as sad as my cuz, because I'm still above ground and grateful for each day. But having had a kidney removed with cancer and being on dialysis for the last 5 years, I am very grateful and thankful for each day and blessed. As I look at my wife, Andrea, 2 kids, Amber and Malik, sitting here, and Malik over there. Coincidentally, my wife is at home resting a back injury, but she's watching on YouTube. And lastly, but not least, I would also like to thank the numerous teams and leagues in Connecticut and throughout the New England that I've played with. The experience was awesome. It has helped me achieve so much and perhaps forge me into the person I've become. I believe one of the first teams I played with was the Italian Americans. I'll never forget when Sal Rizzo, and Sal is not here today, right? No. Called me at home. My mother was on the other line listening. After the call, my mom, in a strong Jamaican accent, sounding all nervous, "Julia, is all that guy with a strong Italian accent asking you to come play soccer?" That was Mom's. That was my mom. And even though she couldn't be at all the games, she had to know every team, every person, every move I made. Thanks, Mom. I had to calm her down though and let her know everything was going to be all right. But thanks, Sal. I also played with 2 rivals in the Hartford area, the Hartford Portuguese and Ludlow Lusitana. Wow. If you've ever been to a Ludlow game, you'd realize just how serious they took their soccer. Standing room only. I received my first ever red card, however, during one of those games, playing for Ludlow. To this day, I'm not sure why I was thrown off, as I was one of the greatest pretenders of being fouled, but I could never hide throwing a punch. However, shortly after that, while playing for the Hartford Portuguese, we made a bit of history by taking the team to the U.S. Amateur Cup, coached by none other than Dan Gasper. I even managed a bit and coached Windsor United and Windsor Rovers, respectfully. I think I prefer playing. If you ever like babysitting grown men, then there you go. Overall, I learned so much about my peers. Thank you, Lindsay. Playing with so many teams, some out of Mass, New York, was tedious. Each Sunday, driving hundreds of miles. Mind you, this was before GPS and cell phones. My Sundays were like mini vacations. Getting lost, going to gas stations, asking people doing their yard work, where is a field? In some cases, I was given another town. 20 minutes later again, I had to play even harder. In any case, I remember playing with a team out of Mass. The owners convinced me to go to Portugal, the Azores to be exact. When we arrived, we were treated like soccer stars from America. Kids in the villages wanted our autograph. We lapped it up. As you can tell, or imagine, there were young women snapping pics, blowing kisses. I had my share. What an experience that was. I'll never forget how tough those teams were though. They never let you dribble, I swear. I've still got injuries reminding me of those games. Nonetheless, the airline at the time, TAP, went into bankruptcy while we were there. We ended up spending an extra week out of money, homesick, getting sick of people that couldn't speak English. We ended up at the American Embassy. Not long after, we were all boarded on a chartered flight. Let me just tell you, that plane today would not be allowed in the sky. When we landed in Boston, I'll never forget that flight. The entire plane load of passengers got down on their knees and prayed, me included. No kidding. Thanks everyone on that plane. The Industrial League had its glory years while playing for Etna with Coach Ron Campo, and a few of the U of H boys, Aldo, Lena, Mike Ziogas, Stafford. Records started to form. We started a rival with Travelers, and that eventually became a charity game, and its proceeds were donated to different charities, Food Share, and so forth. Overall, playing in an industrial league was so much fun. I made so many drinking buddies. Some of who are here today, Eves, Keith, Neville Brown, and a few others. Oh yes, I played some professional soccer. Not much, but for those of you, like myself, that ever dreamed of playing professionally, we were quickly awakened when we saw that first paycheck. And I realized pro soccer wasn't in the cards for long. Especially when you remember how hard your parents worked to put food on the table. Don't get me wrong, the game is important, but I'd rather volunteer coaching my kids and my friends' kids than not making a living wage playing soccer. Coaching young kids for free is one of the most fulfilling experiences that I've ever had. I would do it all over again. In closing, I just want to say how grateful and appreciative to be inducted as a member of the Connecticut Soccer Hall of Fame fraternity. I thank you all from the bottom of my heart, and my loving family thank you as well. God bless you all for attending this evening, that I will cherish forever. Enjoy the rest of the evening, and good night.